Hi, this is Eric Besserell, and this is my multimedia presentation for week 4 for the class MPA510. And I'm going to be talking about Dwight Waldo, Douglas Murray McGregor, and Charles E. Lindblom. Dwight Waldo wrote a book in 1948, The Administrative State, at which point he really let the people know that he was against the typical mechanical scientific approach. He wanted people to be more active. Public servants should be more involved, more vested, in order to create a more democratic situation for the public. He realized that there was intrinsic tensions between the public servants and what he believed to be democratic values. So he wanted to show to the public that there needed to be a separation and that there had to be more emphasis on learning the actual system to be able to create a more democratic organization. So he was really a real valuable person that when he came out with these theories, because of the fact that he had bureaucratic background, but he was also as well a professor. So this was a really unique approach. One of the quotes that he had that I really liked was the problem of the place of the expert in a democratic society, particularly the expert in quote unquote things in general, cannot be regarded as having been satisfactorily treated and will probably continue to engage the attention of administrative writers. I like this because, in general, what I got is that he liked the idea of continually learning and the involvement of public administration. A good example of this is hands-on job training, continual education units or credits. This is important because what it does is it involves the person, the employee, more into their organization. And this hands-on approach actually gives you a way to learn and apply new ways and new ideas to the job. Douglas Murray McGregor, he was an MIT Sloan School professor, and he wrote his book, The Human Side of Enterprise, in 1960, at which point he gave the audience, the people at the time, a really unique approach where he emphasized the idea of team of X and Y, and the two theories. Theory X being that people are sometimes prone to being unmotivated, and when they are motivated, they're motivated by wrong things such as just getting paid, um, job security, so just doing the minimum amount of work and not really being motivated to go above and beyond their potential or seek their potential. And theory Y was that in the same setting, you were able to create an environment where people were highly motivated, they were ambitious, and so people were there working with different ultimate goals. And this was really important at the time because he basically gave this idea to people that were in management, um, to to learn and oversee how they were handling their employees. And one of the quotes that I liked in um, his writings was, "Before we are overwhelmed by the obstacles, let us remember that the application of the theory is always slow. Progress is usually achieved in small steps." And he's talking about theory Y. So this was a really good quote. One of the ways that we can apply this is the idea of merits. Now, they could be bad and they could be good, depending on the motive. But I think in general, when someone or employee has a vision or a way to achieve, to seek further advancement, it gives them more investment into the organization, and in turn will lead to a more successful employee. Charles E. Lindbaum was a Yale economist and a scholar of public policy issues. He wrote The Science of Muddling Through, and he emphasized the idea of the root and the branch method. The root method was a rational, comprehensive method where you were going from the ground up and you were heavily reliant on theory. Branch method, not so much reliant on theory, and it was limited because you weren't comparing it to base ideas. You were not relying on theory, and it was due to the fact that it was intermixed with the values and goals of other ideas. So one of the quotes that I liked from his writings was, as a second step, he would outline those relatively few policy alternatives that occurred to him. He would then compare them. He was big on comparing, and that's what I like this paragraph on the idea. He also went into other parts of how ideas intertwined, um, and their empirical analysis, but he really emphasized the and was one of the main people with for the root and branch methods. Now, where I see this being applicable is the DMV, where we have ideas for the root methods being driving safety, uh, the actual vehicle itself being on the road, um, basic language that we see for safety on the road, and something a little bit more that I see as a branch from that, or branch method, would be things that involve like the EPA or smogging vehicles, the amount of pollution that goes out from these vehicles. So it's more of like um, it's a branch that comes off of the basic theory of driving public administration that's applicable to the DMV. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope to see some of your reactions or responses to my presentation. Thank you.